Fulham chairman Mohamed Al Fayed has hit out at the bodies in control of English football, demanding a review of both refereeing practices and the decision-making process. The Egyptian businessman has written to the Football Association and Premier League seeking an immediate review, which he says is on behalf of all clubs. The Cottage's chairman has been frustrated by recent inconsistencies and errors, as well as the whole operation of officiating matches, which he believes are all too readily accepted by football's governing bodies. In a statement on Fulham Football Club's official website, Al Fayed said the FA's problem in addressing this pivotal situation is that it has too much power. Where else can decision makers, referees, escape all responsibility to admit serious and blatant errors and have the protesters, the football clubs involved, fined on charges of misconduct? I've said many a time I'm an advocate of goal line technology, but it needs to stay on goal line only. It needs to stay there and nowhere else. Handballs, leave it alone. Free kicks, penalties, leave it alone. Goals only. Goals only. I swear in cricket they only do it on, I think it's only on wickets. So it's
wickets, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not pretending to know anything about cricket, but also I think in rugby they only do it on tries. So it's a case of that's where it should stay, that's where it should start, that's where it should end. But the moronic powers that be that we have, well, who's to say it's not going to open Pandora's box?
Starting off with Mohamed Al Fayed, who, to be honest, I just think he's sucking on sour grapes, because every team's affected. Every team is affected by bad decisions by referees. They're affected by, just the poor status in which the referees, the world that the referees are living in. What people don't realise is, whilst everyone else is technologically more advanced, like for instance us, the viewers, we see everything in 3D, we see everything in replays, we see everything in we can watch it the next day and talk about it, discuss it, castigate, do whatever. Referees only get to make that one decision. Decisions aren't going to go your way. And then moving on to the actual technology side of things with FIFA, the IBFA as well. Well, the first things, don't get your hopes up, because the IBFA have to accept that they want to bring this into any levels of the game. They've already rejected it before, and for whatever reasonings it was before. I don't see what's going to be the biggest difference now. Yeah, they're doing all this testing, great PR to do all the testing and make it out like you're doing something about it. But at the end of the day, we all know the feelings of the top honchos, the Platinis and Blatters. They don't really want to change anything because they think it's going to take away from the game. So, to me, to be honest, I'd love to see Hawkeye in the game. I think Hawkeye would be a complete technology for football. I think the way it works in tennis, the way it works in cricket is amazing. The way referees, umpires get to make quick decisions with their peers. I think football could do the same thing in a number of different ways.
It's a case of there's all this talk about it could come in. The talking needs to stop in terms of the powers that be, but the talking needs to continue in terms of here, because Johnny Sykes, you wanted to jump in on the argument.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big decision to integrate it into the game. I mean, this is a game that hasn't had it at all. It's over 100 years old. It will change the game a little bit. But it works in the NFL. Coaches have the ability to stop the play, to review the play. Referees go over to a monitor to review the play. You've all seen it. So I think it would work for football as well.
Do you think that, other than goal line technology, it could be useful? Just for like penalties, people dropping down in a box, like Ashley Young. I know we're going to go into this later on, but Ashley Young diving in the box, winning a penalty. Was it a big push? Wasn't it a big push? Was it a kick? Was it not a kick? Do you reckon it could work in those instances as well?
No, I wouldn't do it in those instances, because there are so many instances where you have it. I mean, but for me, the referees also have a bit of responsibility to take. Al Fayed is right in that regard, that referees need to be held accountable, because like we were debating about last week, it's a case of the standard of refereeing needs to jump up as well, because these refs, I mean, look at Carlos Tevez, how he got booked for a dive, even though clearly he got fouled. and should have had a penalty. If you're going to book someone, refs, I've always said, if someone dives, then they deserve a straight booking. No ifs, no buts. But come on, refs. If you're going to book someone for diving, at least get it right. And to me, that is standard of refereeing, being poor. How can you book someone for diving and you're looking right at it? You book someone for diving even though he was clearly fouled. This
is something like the diving where the referees have made certain calls in the past that have been even worse. Yet people have just accepted it. And, you know, it's because obviously people have lost that sort of respect for referees, but at the end of the day, you know, once a referee makes a decision, players need to start respecting the decision again, regardless of if it's wrong or right. You know, you play to the whistle. And I know that might sound weird, accept it if it's wrong, but at the end of the day, you know, if we ain't gonna bring technology on all levels of the game, then not all decisions are gonna be helped out or made better or made easier for the referee.
But then
if that makes any sense.
But as said, the standard of refereeing needs to get better then. Because at the end of the day, you've got so many blatant wrong decisions as well. But Dan Wigham, you've been waiting patiently. You wanted to jump in as well on this point.
Yeah, just about goal line technology as well. It's in other sports like cricket and rugby, and like I don't know why it's not in football yet, because football's like the most popular sport in the world and just causing more controversial goals like the Chelsea one. I mean, like if the referee's not 100% sure, I don't know why he gave the goal.
No, exactly. Exactly. I'm baffled by that myself. It's like if the Gman was saying earlier as well. It's a case of, mate, if you're in any doubt, you don't give it. But somehow there was doubt between the linesman and the ref, but they gave it. So, It's like I don't get it. But being that you're a Reading supporter, Dan, I mean, you'll remember from, I think it was 2008, 2009, the goal that happened against Watford. Involving wasn't that a two?
That was nowhere near the goal.
Yeah, that was a 2-2 draw in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2-2 draw.
It's one of them ones. I mean, I always point to that as well as Pedro Mendes' goal that wasn't as an example as well, whereby the standard of refereeing. I mean, how can you allow that as a goal?
It was like against the Man United and QPR game where Ashley Young got awarded a penalty. If the linesman was doing his job properly, he would have gave Ashley Young offside.
Exactly, and then Derry wouldn't have been sent off because there wouldn't have been a decision to make.
Exactly, and the play would have been dead.
I mean, it's the regularity of these wrong decisions that gets me. I see so many people diving blatantly and not being given cards for it. Refs need to grow a set of balls and start enforcing the rules. Because if you, as said before, if you want diving cut out, start reprimanding players harshly for it. It's like being a kid and doing something wrong. If you know that you are going to get in trouble for something, you're not going to do it anymore because you don't want to get in trouble. And if you were a certain type of kid, you don't want to hold a beating for it. It's very, very remedial, very remedial. But the powers that be don't seem to get it.